What is space? Frank Lloyd Wright, the famous architect, said that space is the breath of art. Seems weird, right? Art doesn't breathe. What he means, though, is that space is essential in art. In fact, space is something every piece of art needs in order to exist. When we are talking about art, space is everywhere. Space is the area or distance around and between and inside the different parts of the artwork. There are a lot of ways to describe space when it comes to art. It can be positive or negative, open or closed, shallow or deep, and even two-dimensional or three-dimensional. But how do artists create space? For three-dimensional artists, it's easy. Anything with height, width, and depth automatically takes up space. But for two-dimensional artists, their work only has height and width, so they need to create the illusion of space. An illusion is when you make it look like something exists. Two-dimensional artists create illusions that make it look like their work has depth and space. So let's look at those ideas a little more. How do three-dimensional artists use space? The sculpture itself takes up space, of course, but it also interacts with the space around it. We call the subject of the artwork the positive space, where something is. We call the empty space the negative space, where something is not. Sculptors think about how the solid parts of their sculpture, the positive space, work with the space above, below, and around it, the negative space. Some artists even create space inside of their sculptures. Barbara Hepworth is a sculptor famous for creating negative space inside of her works. If you look at one of her sculptures, you will notice smooth surfaces, elegant curves, and beautiful forms. But you will also see negative space inside the form. This empty space makes the sculpture more interesting, and it makes you pay attention to the positive form as well as the negative space. As we said, two-dimensional artists utilize space too. However, when you are painting or drawing or printing, it can be more difficult because the artist needs to create that illusion of space. They want to make the viewer see and understand the space that is not actually there. Luckily, there are a few tricks artists use to create that illusion of space. Let's look at a landscape painting, for example. A tree may be large and located in the front of the painting, while the mountains are small and in the background. Are trees really bigger than mountains? No. But artists change the size of the subjects in their work to show us perspective and give us the illusion of distance and space. A painter might also choose to change the horizon line in their work, the line where the earth and sky meet. If the horizon line moves lower in the scene, there's more sky in the painting and more negative space. This gives the viewer the impression that there is even more space in the painting. Landscape painter Keith Jacobshagen paints skies that take up most of the canvas, and his paintings look like they could go on forever. Believe it or not, space can even convey emotion. Have you ever felt nervous or claustrophobic in a really small or tight space? Have you ever felt awe or wonder when you were in a wide open space? Artists like M.C. Escher and Salvador Dali often twist and distort space in their art, which can make viewers curious and sometimes even uncomfortable. Painters imply space, photographers capture space, sculptors rely on space, and architects build space. Space is fundamental to everything we do in art. It can be interesting to think about how your body takes up space and how you're constantly surrounded by negative space. The best artists pay attention to space and use it in their artwork. When you are creating art, keep an eye out for space, and when you notice it, use it, because it will make you a better artist.